If you are at all similar to me, don't sleep on the slippery slope of indulging people's nonsense, of indulging nonsense yourself. So easily, our clarity and our ownership of our conscious state is hijacked so easily because of people's drama, so easily because of people's toxicity and negativity. But ultimately, it's your fault. Ultimately, it's my fault. A lot of times we allow ourselves to gravitate to it. A lot of times we are the ones subconsciously, if not consciously, seeking it. And we seek it because negative stimulation is better than no stimulation. That's why the inconvenient truth for me, I woke up, drowned my system with coffee, and took my supplements. Then, as a result of drowning my system with coffee, my body was like, all right, we need to alkalize this a bit. I make my own little green juice, and I drank that. And I did some sprints up and down the street. And that helps me, that I feel completely different than I would have if I just woke up and just did whatever. I feel completely different. The point in saying that is that, like, you unfortunately, I keep saying unfortunately because you have to do stuff. You have to engage in habits and practices to feel your best and to feel that energy, that surplus that allows you, that enables you to avoid the negativity, that gives you that fortification to where you're like, I don't need to indulge negative nonsense. I don't need to indulge drama. You don't need the negative stimulation because you have, I'm a big believer in there being an intrinsic richness available to each human system. And but unfortunately, it has to be earned. And a lot of it has to do with the proper nutrients you intake. A lot of it has to do with the proper habits, getting your blood pumping up, engaging some kind of physical activity. All of that lends itself to getting your mind right. Because it's not only about just mind over matter. It's not only about just thinking yourself into a positive state. Because, when it's all said and done, an oversimplification of my perception is I am a big believer in positive energy. I am. I never look at it like that because to me, that's the synonymous and equivalent of talking about some higher vibrations. But I see people talk about being on a higher vibration. I see people talking about being on higher consciousness, but they don't elaborate and get into the details of it. And they think it's just kind of like a performative sort of, I'm just going to be nice. Nah, it's not just about being nice. It's not like I'm just going to be positive. I don't think it's just about doing that. I think it's about engaging in some concrete practices that you can sink your teeth into, that you can really feel the benefit. You can really feel the growth. You can really feel the power, and not feeling the power. So therefore you can be superior to your fellow man and to rub their face and how awesome you are versus how much they're not. It's not about that. It is, to me, it is about you versus you first and foremost. And it has to be, because ultimately, when it comes to our interactions on a daily basis, we live in, this is 2025. This is about harmony. It has to be about harmony. It has to be about us being the best version of ourselves. So we're not giving into what is everybody on these days. Impatience is like never before. Mindlessness is like never before. Being quick to just react and being unreasonable is never before. And I am also vulnerable to all of these behaviors and these habits. And it's hard. It's hard. But since life is intrinsically tragic, since life is intrinsically hellish, I don't go the route of, people hate to admit this, that life is just an absurdly unfair, tragic joke, right? Because then they think that somebody then conclude is like, okay, then let me just hurt everybody. I think the opposite. I think that because life is tragically unfair and because life is intrinsically chaotic, I think it is incumbent upon us to do the opposite. There's no interest in my system to make life any more hellish than it already is, to make life any more unfair than it already is, to make life any more negative than it already is. If anything, we should be pursuing the opposite as a result of being these conscious creatures with tons of agency, with tons of willpower, with tons of potential, with tons of ability. It's our opportunity to create the kind of, it's got to be us having a conscious intention of having heaven on earth to the best of our ability, because hell is inevitable. Bless you all. Let's start the week.